Mezalukusiba, Megabadetishi, Sestura, Lepigno, Gishista, Maifenda, Gekikopatisi Kilda.
Your English is a lot better than my Bengali, and it might even be better than my English now I come to think about it.
NSHM डिजाइन स्कूल, NSHM सेंटर फॉर क्रिएटिव एंड परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स और कल्चर मंक के सहयोग से बंगाल विनियट नामक एक इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी आर्ट्स प्रोजेक्ट प्रस्तुत किया। ये प्रोजेक्ट बंगाल के महान कलाकारों बादल सरकार, सलिल चौधरी और ऋत्विक घटक की जन्म शताब्दी को समर्पित था। 24 अक्टूबर को आयोजित अंतिम कार्यक्रम में द रेलेवेंस ऑफ डिसरप्टिव परफॉर्मेटिव प्रैक्टिसेस फॉर एजुकेशन, सोसाइटी एंड द एनवायरनमेंट विषय पर पैनल चर्चा हुई। इस चर्चा में डॉक्टर शर्मिला सिन्हा, जनार्दन घोष, मार्क फॉक्स, राजादित्य बैनर्जी, प्रदीप चट्टोपाध्याय और सुदीप्ता दाउन शामिल हुए। उन्होंने कला और परफॉर्मेंस के जरिए शिक्षा और समाज पर पड़ने वाले प्रभाव पर चर्चा की। कार्यक्रम में छात्रों ने सलिल चौधरी के गीतों का सुंदर मेडले प्रस्तुत किया। इसके बाद मेमोरीज और फ्यूचर्स नामक एक मंचीय प्रस्तुति हुई। छात्रों द्वारा बनाए गए कला इंस्टॉलेशन भी प्रदर्शित किए गए, जो बंगाल की सांस्कृतिक विरासत और नई पीढ़ी की रचनात्मकता को दर्शाते हैं।
Thank you to everyone out here, all the students and staff of NSHM. Warm welcome to the panelists, and we are very grateful that they have taken their time to come and share their thoughts. I think that the students of NSHM, who are always receptive and open to new experiences and new ways of thinking, would be very happy that today we have such wonderful speakers who have kept alive the spirit of culture and also art practices, and they are here to share with us their thoughts on how art practices and creative thinking can help in education, in society, in the way we can make meaning in our lives, and also for the sake of the environment.
So why we chose this creative fluidity was because today we are at an age where everything is fluid, yet everything is staccato. So how do we imbibe this change, which can actually bring about a reflection at today and look at how we build tomorrow? So if I say creative fluidity, it is actually developing the capacity to adapt, to improvise, and seamlessly blend different styles, forms, and influences to produce dynamic and innovative works. And that's all creativity is about. It's how we look at an old thing, evolve it with the changing times. In music, film, theatre, this concept manifests in distinct ways, allowing creators to push boundaries. Otherwise, there would be no creation. We would just be producing or manufacturing. So that is where the difference comes, and that is where we see newness. So on this occasion of celebrating the birth centenary of these three enigmatic icons of Bengal, whose work have been an epitome of creative fluidity. Because when we look at them, they made statements of social norms, they made the real life and sufferings of people come into the forefront and give them a stature. So their contribution in the field of music, street theatre and cinema stands as a relic of the raw human spirit woven through their rich narratives of the socio-cultural aspects of Bengal.
And in Mohinenpura Gully, in 70s, we did a lot of deconstructive work, I think. For example, in the very established hall, we started somersault vault and some swinging effect. These are the kind of thing which was different, and we did it, we felt it to do that thing. The scene was, music scene was different, and we used mostly Western music, Western instrument. We have not used that time any Indian instrument, but later on we worked with the Baul jazz. We developed some kind of jazz music with the Baul. Because Baul, we used to believe that they're the soul brother of the jazz musician. Their spirit was very free and everything. So we did that sort of thing also with Baul. We named it Baul Jazz Group. We performed in that jazz festival, and the essence was some Baul Bhattiali tune maybe we used and improvised in the
joined Badulda's group, and I was an observer. He said, you need to observe. And I didn't understand, really, literally, I had no idea what I had to observe and why I had to observe. And what is this concept of third theatre? Why is it called third theatre? Why is it not called the 19th theatre? Why is it not called the second theatre? Why is it not called the first theatre? So I remember, like, during those times, I mean, those times were very different. I mean, we were living in a pre-globalized world where the dinosaurs used to roam the streets of Kolkata. We used to read Isaac Asimov. We were very fond of science fiction stories written by him and Arthur C. Clarke. So to conceive that someday we will have an instrument called a mobile phone was pure science fiction to us. And there was a lot of turmoil. I'm talking about the Nakshal period. I was too young to understand what Naxalism was all about. And I was too young to understand the importance, the relevance of theatre in a pre-globalized India, especially in a pre-globalized Bengal, it wouldn't be unfair to say that was a time when it was called the golden age of Bengal, I mean, in terms of the cultural output. And Badulda said, imagine that you want to become an actor. So what do you want to do? Why do you want to become an actor? And imagine I give you a role in one of my plays. So what are you going to do? So I got very scared. I said that I cannot remember the lines. I have a difficulty, I have a real problem in remembering the lines. And then he said that I got the biggest compliment of my life. He said, I was always looking for a guy who doesn't remember his lines.
So thank you, NSHM. I feel what you remember is disruption alone. Because if you look at embroidery, the entire cloth piece is being pierced by the needle and thread to create disruption in the clear flow of that well-knit fabric. And that disruption of the movement of the thread is what you say is art. In this entire conversation that you heard, you would remember the moment Bulada took the mic from Rajaditto and added a point which created a disruption in a very disciplined way of talking. You will remember that. You will remember the sound that was created by Bulada, more all the meaningful words that we are sharing with you. According to Rig Veda, in Nashadiya Sutra, it is said that the world was created out of chaos. It was chaos in the beginning. And from chaos emerged order. In all this kind of noise that is around us, people talking in groups, somebody whispering there, somebody kind of sharing something very important, out of that, a moment of silence is what is meaningful. a moment of silence that is worthy. Dr. Sinha started with
I'm sure
the
that
creative
every
flow.
student here was using ChatGPT. 4 years ago, nobody on the planet was using ChatGPT. That is a disruption. It is inherently unpredictable. And so trying to guess the future and work backwards is not the right strategy. If that's not what you should be doing, what is the right strategy? Well, you know what? I think the answer is culture. If you think of someone like Sholil Chowdhury, he can't tell you about the future. He can't tell you where you're going, but he can tell you where you've come from. He can tell you what it means to be a Bengali, what it means to be an Indian, what it means to be a human being. And you can look at some of the themes that he struggled with. And I was having a conversation with Pradeep. He comes from a vanished time of idealism in India that we perhaps look back on as slightly naive, but there's much to be learned from that idealism. And if we leave behind idealism, what kind of future will we have? So I don't think you can guess the future and prepare for it, but you can certainly find out about the past, you can find out about your roots, and that knowledge strengthens you to face whatever the future might become. And that knowledge begins with an engagement with your culture in this place, at this time, and with these
My
people.
name is
Thank you
Rajaditya
very much.
Banerjee. I'm a filmmaker, but I think I've introduced myself as a student of world cinema and theatre. It was a real pleasure to be back here at NSHM. And well, Ghatak, as you know, was an eccentric, and he too was a man ahead of his time. I mean, someone who has made a film, someone who's, I mean, oh, well, he's made 6 films, I understand, and I mean, I don't know which one I should talk about, but let me talk about Ajantit since it was here. Somebody had, get beautifully painted scene from Ajantik, and you know, in the 1950s, it was considered as the very first independent film which came out of Bengal, and in this film, he was able to show the relationship between a man and a machine, which was unthought of, and I have heard it. I was not born then, and I've heard it that when this film went to a major film festival, there were no subtitles, but people started crying after seeing this film because even without subtitles, he was able to demonstrate that a real film, it doesn't depend on a real film is you don't have to understand the language because the visuals speak for itself. And Ghatak was, I'm not qualified to speak about him, he was way ahead of most of the filmmakers who have made films, I mean, on this planet. He was extraordinary, to say the least.